Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagon, and this is Gregtech New Horizons. So, it's been a couple days since the last recording. Excuse me. And I have been doing a lot of mining. I made the basic miner. I took it off of my checklist thing. Right now, my basic miner is up over in this chunk here. And the reason for that is I have been sticking the miner up in this mountainous area here so that it would hopefully be within my loaded range and run without needing to use the ender pearls in the personal chunk loader. I have been trying to get the crushed zinc that you need in order to use the thermal centrifuge and get this right here, tiny piles of gallium dust. Like I say, have been working my butt off trying to get gallium. I don't know if it is a factor of the change with adding in the small ores of a certain type within a chunk, but for whatever reason, I have not gotten nearly as much crushed zinc as I remember getting previously, and so it's taken quite a bit longer than I initially thought should have taken in order to get enough of the crushed zinc to be able to thermal centrifuge out the gallium dust. But as such, I have finally gathered enough of it to knock out this quest here. Now, over here, for those of you who might be worried, well, what about Relgar? Where is my Relgar? That's lead. I've got Relgar in here somewhere, I'm sure. No, right, it's in this one. Where are you? There it is. I have 16 crushed Relgar ore, and then if I look over in here, I think I have quite a bit more Relgar in here. At least it should be in here. Watch, it's probably in that other box and I just totally missed it as I'm hovering over things in here. Yeah, looks like I might have done that. Is it in here as well? Yeah, 23 Relgar or 16, or Relgar dust, 16 Relgar. The Relgar is a piece of cake to get once you have the miner and you just slap it down anywhere in the nether pretty much, and it takes care of it. So in order to make this, it's just a simple thing of sticking it in a mixer. Right. I did not think to look ahead and see if I needed anything. I have not made the mixer yet. The mixer was not even on my list of stuff that I was going to make. I hadn't considered that they might have changed it. So it looks like I will need to make this real quick. A tin rotor, an electric motor. Pardon me. I seem to have got something stuck in my throat. Not terribly grateful for that. All right. Come on over here. Let's grab up some of the glass here because I will need 4 pieces of it. And then I'll also need to get the tin rotor started. So while that's doing that real quick, let's grab 5 tin. We'll throw 1 of it into here and the other 4 of it into there. There we go. I had prepped other things. I just didn't put much consideration towards figuring out if I would need the mixer or not. I don't know if that's a change or not. I originally thought that could be hand mixed. So may need to go into the quest and whoever is handling the quests and have them update this so that it uses it from so that they update it to make a link here between this guy, the gallium arsenide, and the mixer there, because that's not exactly obvious. We have been changing quests, or rather the people who have been working on quests. I certainly haven't been. I've been playing around with other things. So Next I need, grab all 4 of those, put those in here, grab that and those, and I'm going to need the hammer and the file. File, hammer, this just might break that. Nope, not quite. Okay. So there is that, and then I need, that's only 1 tin dust. I think I've got, yeah, there we go, 2 tiny piles. So 2 tiny piles in here, that in there. Makes it nice and easy. I do already have several of these machine hulls ready. So there's a machine hull. Figure out where I put my chisel. Sorry, my chests are still all over the place from the move. I've been focused mainly on trying to find that zinc so that I could progress. I was, if you notice my list over here, I was looking at doing the distillery, the arc furnace, the electrolyzer. I want to do a stack of LV chips just because I'm going to be making plenty of LV machines. And then I decided, no, I don't want to do that until after I get the circuit assembler put together. And unfortunately, with the circuit assembler, it needs 2 sets, or sorry, it needs 3 of these chips here in order to make, that's a lot of stuff to go through. So the initial circuit assembler is a pain because it requires 2 of the MV chips. And initially, because you don't have a circuit assembler, you have to build this. So you need 3 LV chips each to make 1 of these. So you need 6 of those guys set aside, along with making 4 diodes. And it is just a big pain, as you can see. And sorry for the ding. Normally, Windows blocks out the notifications when I'm in full screen mode. I guess it decided it really didn't need to this time. So, mixer. Ah, motor, right. Okay, pop this guy down here. I don't have any spare motors right now, so I need 2 of you. And 2 of you and 1 of you. 2 of you. There we go. 2 of you. And I have, yes, right there's a few extra magnetic rods. There we are. Oh, nope, nope, no, don't do that. That's not what I wanted to do. That's all right. 1 extra one there. That, and then these 2 guys. And let that knock out a motor. I'll be able to use that here in just a minute, making the diodes. But, so, like I say, I wasn't expecting to need to make this mixer. I was expecting to be able to hand mix it, so there's the mixer. You can see I've been making use of both sides of my nice cabling structure over there. That does tend to help. And then grab this guy. And fortunately you can do a 2 without needing a table. 1s and 2s are easy. Just slap it in the bottom. 1 and 2. And then I guess you can do 8 as well. But 1 and 2 are the primary ones that I use. Specifically 1 is the primary one I use for that bending machine. There we are. 2 gallium arsenide. That should provide a quest update. I hope. Maybe? There it is. Alright. So that knocked out gallium arsenide and our mixer. Yeah. Galvania leaves to 4 times the zinc. sphalerite. Galvania leaves are nice to be able to 4 times the zinc. And for those of you who watched season 1, you know that I got pretty heavy into the IC2 crops. I plan on doing the same thing again here. It's just a matter of actually getting it done. So I'm going to need 16, so 1, 2, 3 more of those. Pop those in, right? Yeah, just regular fine wire. Oh, there it goes. Great. Thanks, thanks notifications. I'll be right back while I fix my screens. All right, there we go. Fix that up pretty quick. Just needed to get it back into full screen mode. So there was the 16 fine copper wire. That should ding complete. There we go. 4 small piles of gallium arsenide dust. So one of these in that lower right corner. That'll work. And then it wants me to make 8 diodes, which are going to require me to use the assembler. And I need this guy right here, hopefully, molten glass, and I can get 2 each. So let's try that. So with the assembler, you guys can see, I'll shift right click, put the assembling machine facing that guy. I don't need him to be operational right now. I can slap a pump on there. Actually, this isn't going to do me any good because I didn't put the parts inside it. So let me do that real quick. Get him straightened around. There we go. I will need all 4 of those, all 16 of that. Shift right click that so it faces that way. The problem is that once you stick the pump on here, you can't right click. I can right click all day long and I can't right click on that guy. So you need to have whatever stuff in there unless you're going to wrench, you know, something else in order to get into one of the other sides. And that was not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Put that in, right click it to set it to import, and then I can grab my poor little iron tank over here. He does so much work for me between getting water to fill my cauldron and being the setup right here so that I can do things like putting in that glass. So there we go. I need 3 more of those though, and it's nighttime, so I'd better go ahead and sleep. That was definitely an interesting artifact there. I don't know if you guys saw that clicking glass into there. It made the entire assembling machine transparent. That was kind of cool. All right, we'll slap that in and get that filled. I'll grab 2 more of my buckets. There we go. All right, grab one of those. Yeah, plenty of room. And while that last one is filling, I will show you guys what we have been up to. There is our Pam's Gardens. We've been doing a lot with the Pam's Gardens. I was trying to get the healing axe done. I'm down to just the rainbow curry. I need the orange, the burning blossoms from the nether, and then we also need the nether gardens as well. Down here we have a set of animals. My buddy, he ran around and gathered up a few of the animals, stuck them in here. There you can see the portal to the Twilight Forest, the portal to the nether again, like usual. We've slowly been expanding out, running an entire line around with the, what is that stuff called? The bamboo. So slowly doing things, and then filled in more of this section over here. I still plan on putting a central tower here, but I was doing some exploring with the hang glider, and I found out that this one rainforest biome is absolutely gigantic. It takes up a huge amount of space with a bayou slap dab in the middle there. What I did is I found out I jumped up here. I did a little exploring. Turns out this is even higher over here. So I jumped down and just did a little bit of exploring. The worst part about this setup that I can really complain about is the fact that I only have one oil spigot right here, and that's it. I have looked all over the rest of this area. I probably just need to go out a bit farther, but just having just the one oil spigot there is rather obnoxious. Hopefully we don't go through it too quickly once we get the distillery up and running. Oops, and I left my third and final glass bucket over here. So let's grab that real quick. There we go. And close that. There you can see the Railcraft boiler setup, the high pressure compressor. I haven't really set those guys up other than using the 8. Those 8 do more than enough to fill this creosote. And then we have the charcoal going over here to this guy. Occasionally I turn off my Steve's cart farm because I get entirely too much oak. I am not sure why this guy is not importing. That is interesting. Why are you not importing? I'm going to have to take a look at that. It looks like that guy's filling up and then not importing because if we look around here, you can see it's not completely full there. So that's telling me I have something in my setup wrong. Let's jump over here. All right, you're set to import. You're also set to import. I'm not sure what's going on here. It looked like that was not getting enough, but oh, that's why. That's the wrong import. I want... Yeah, there we go. Now this guy will import in there. So that's all that was wrong. There we go. All right, back over here. Yep, 2 diodes, but not the rest of them. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3 buckets. In my previous playthrough, I ran into one of the loot dungeons, and I ended up getting some Ender IO tanks, and that helps tremendously with importing and exporting. I don't have to have a special pump or a tank or anything along those lines set up and off to the side that I can make use of. All I have to do is have one edge of it set to import and off we go. All right, so with that, there is my molten glass. It is making my diodes. And I can put all this stuff back, put the pump back, put the chisel back. That is not the first time I have heard an explosion in this game and not known where it came from. I can only figure it's an animal or something dying and it's the explosion from them dying, but I don't know for sure. So I know it's not any of my stuff because I haven't gotten that achievement yet. If I go to the achievements, let me think, is that industrial craft with the achievement for blowing up? Die from a nuke? No. No, then it's got to be Gregtech, sorry. Galacticraft. That's GT++. There's Gregtech. I think there is a quest in here somewhere for lighting your stuff on fire and causing it to blow up. Who knows? Anyway, oh, there it is, right there. Forget to build a roof above your machines, lose a machine due to overvoltage. Those 2 guys right there, when it rains, you'll get bad weather, and then if it blows up, you get electric problems. So Those are the two that you'll end up getting taken if you ever leave a machine out in the rain and let it explode. So because I have not taken those, I don't have to worry about it yet. But there are my diodes. All right. And then from the diodes, I can now work on the good circuits. Oh, it wants me to make 4 of them. Okay. So I need 12 electric circuits. That's going to take me a little while to get set up. I have the circuit boards and the steel casings and the resistors, but I'm going to need to make a whole bunch more of the vacuum tubes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here, and I will bring you back once I am a little bit better in position to knock out all 12 of those guys. All right, I am back. And I've collected all the pieces and parts that I need. The 4 steel casings, the 12 circuits, the 8 diodes we just made, 4 good circuit boards that I made previously, and 8 copper wire. So with all of that in place, it marks the quest as complete, and I can work on making 4 of these guys. So let's get to it. 4 there, 4 there, 4 there, 4 there, and 4 there. And there are our better circuits. Hey, and we even get fireworks inside the building. Crazy. Detect that that's complete. Food and some coins. I'll wait on making those. And there, oh, it wants the scanner. I don't want the scanner. There it is, the basic circuit assembler. Now you can see I already have up here pretty much everything I needed. I needed those last 2 bits there, and then 2 more wires, 2 more rubber, and there is the basic circuit assembler. Finally complete. I've been waiting to make this thing for quite some time, basically I want to say 4 days. That I was sitting there with the miner trying to get stuff done. A couple of days I didn't have a whole lot of activity. I was only able to play for one day was only a half an hour before I had to leave. So yeah, that is the basic circuit assembler, which is phenomenal. That guy will help cut down the cost of making these electronic circuits. Let's see, the recycler... the recycler only wants normal stuff. I wonder why they want me to make that. If you have too much wood, saplings, dirt, or stone, get scrap. You can use it later for UU amp. Alright. So, that there. The scanner is probably slightly more important, but it wants 4 of those MV circuits. So the reason I make that first guy is simply because he will make all other circuits that much cheaper. If we take a look at the electronic circuit and jump over to the circuit assembler, it'll cost you 1 less red alloy wire. You'll save 3 rubber from not having to wrap that wire, and then you'll save half an ingot of steel, because if you have the bending machine to make a plate and then the cutting machine to cut it into casing, you basically get a 2-for-1. So you get 2 casing for every 1 ingot. So having that there will cut down the cost of steel for making these guys. So instead of being half an ingot, you're not using any steel whatsoever. It does come at the cost of either soldering alloy, lead, or tin. I don't believe I have the capability of smelting the soldering alloy right now. Fluid extractor. I guess I can, actually. Or I should be able to. Yeah, there's the dust. So yeah, so the dust and the ingot both right there. So I can convert some of my tin along with a little bit of the antimony into the soldering alloy, and it'll cost me half an ingot of soldering alloy in order to make those parts. So you can see we're rounding out this bit quite well now. The 2 big things I really need to focus on making on this tab are the distillery and the basic arc furnace. The electrolyzer will be nice if I need to make some more diodes, because I can attempt to get a little bit of the gallium out of I don't know that I have it here. I think it's, yeah, the sphalerite. There it is, right there. So the sphalerite is something that I can work on getting the gallium out of that, but it is only a 25% chance for every 2 sphalerite dust. So thankfully one ore gives 4 dust. So you get 2 25% chances for every ore of the sphalerite you have. Let me double check. Is that sphalerite? Let's see. It says, yeah, sphalerite. Sphalerite dust in the electrolyzer. So short of sticking it up on a hill and then getting the thermal centrifuge out in order to figure out those guys, I can start looking at using sphalerite. Now, if you notice in this thing, it does say, again, we can use galvania leaves. Once you get to HV, the HV macerator, which is like one of the first 2 machines, I think I made it the first machine when I got into HV. I mean, I built a transformer as one of the quests in MV and immediately hooked it up and put the HV macerator on there from season 1. So yeah, definitely I put this as the highest priority as soon as I enter HV in order to get that 10% chance on getting gallium dust. And that comes when you start grinding up the stuff. If you come back here, if we take a look at, yeah, the centrifuge zinc ore, I believe that one, yeah, pulverizing this guy, once it's already centrifuged, you get that additional 10% chance on gallium, which is, you know, 10% on every one of those things is a fantastic rate of return. Bauxite ores once we get to the moon, and then arsenic I don't have any issue whatsoever, simply because I get enough Relgar ore from mining in the nether. One of the things I did plop down on was a redstone vein, so I got a ton of redstone. I mean, I've got, you know, 13, almost 14 stacks there. I have another 8 stacks in here that I just need to clean, and I was using those to make some of the red alloy ingot with. So it's getting a little late. This video is getting just a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, and hopefully tomorrow when I get back on, I'll be able to knock out the distillery, knock out the arc furnace. I also want to get, like I say, the electrolyzer. And then from there, I can also work on this tab, which is to work on the EBF. I did the 11 heat-proof casings. You can see those guys right here. And then all I need after that is this guy. So that's going to be 3 more chips for here. I do have 4 there, but not sure what order I want to go in with that. Input and output buses have changed a little bit. You can see they now require conveyors. Ooh, nickel item pipe. That I didn't think it was nickel previously. I am running a beta version of GT++ right now, simply because it does away with the control cores, so things like the sifter and some of the other multi-blocks from GT++ no longer need the core modules. They are now useful for stepping down the max power that a multi-block will use. So you can feed it HV power, and if you have an MV core in it, it will only run on it'll only run the MV tier of it rather than the HV tier of it. So you can feed it higher power and not have to worry about it sucking down a lot of power for the lower power recipes. So that is a handy feature. It will be in, I believe, the next release of GTNH, which would be 2072 or 2071, one of those two. So it's coming down the pipe for everyone else. I was just doing some beta testing of it because they asked for some testers to give it a shot, see how things work, see if it lags out or anything along those lines. So the input hatches, slightly different than nickel item pipes there. Fluid hatch needs these large steel fluid cells. Those are semi-annoying to craft, in addition to an electric pump and another bronze fluid pipe. So input hatches aren't exactly cheap. Maintenance hatch should still be the same. Yeah, just all the tools around an LV machine hull. Muffler hatch, bronze rotor, bronze fluid pipe, LV electric motor. Not too much of a deal there. This guy is where it gets hectic. Lubricant cells. So some people were suggesting to me that I might want to increase the number of coke ovens I have back here to something closer to like 27. At the very least, I need to do more than the 24 so that I get a little bit of creosote oil as excess that I can use to make the lubricant that I will need for these LV energy hatches. Fortunately, that goes through a distillery, so that's why I say the distillery comes before the EBF. I've got to get to lubricant first. And then low voltage cells, fine steel wire. This is another change. Anyone who has made fine steel wire in the past, you'd put ingots into here and they into the wire mill, and when they make wires, you can turn each wire into 4 fine wire, and if you just stuck an ingot like steel, you only got 4 steel wire. That has been updated now so that the wire mill, well, I guess steel has a steel wire. I forget which ones don't, but the ones that didn't supposedly now are increased to 8. I think maybe it's energetic alloy. So this guy here, we can use it. Wire mill. It's still showing me only 4 here. They told me this was supposed to be updated to do 8. So maybe I'm just not in the right version, or maybe that's a version upcoming rather than now. But in any case, lots of work to be done. And then the big one will be making these cupronickel coils from the aluminosilicate wool. One of the other reasons for grabbing all of that redstone is to get that ruby. I've got 54 of the ruby ore here, which quadruples when you macerate it rather than only doubles. Pulverize if it's any other thing, but as soon as you go to the netherrack version, you get 4 out of there. So that will go quite a ways towards getting the aluminosilicate wool in order to finish these cupronickel coils. So in any case, quite a bit of work to be done ahead. Hopefully tomorrow I can see all of those things through to completion, and you'll see probably a change around here as I try and rearrange things in order to get the EBF plugged in and up and running. So anyway, we shall see you all in the next video. Till then.